So hello everyone, Myrmonden here and welcome to my video chapter 141 and 142 of my hero. The two chapters I found them really good, much better sounded. I think so. Maybe I just like Fight Gum more, maybe I just like Kirishima Red Ride a lot more, but I found this to be a lot better battle than the battle previously. This chapter to be a lot better. Now I did read two chapters, on the same time. It was one per weekly, for once. For the first time like a year with manga, but yeah. So I mean that kind of makes it a little better, I suppose. Because you get a little more info in in the same time frame or the same day. But still, it felt like a lot better. I think one thing that made it so much better, which I think more people agree with me on, is that the villains were a lot more interesting. I think the first villains that was pretty fun. They were very interesting. They also kind of nobodies, so kind of crazy Kusa. These guys seems to be, two of the stronger apes, right? A little bit of powers. And the villains they actually hate each other, right? He's like, don't interrupt me, man, I'm gonna fight myself. They kind of do that kind of thing, right? So there's Tengai and guys that get Kappa. They're way more interesting, right? They have this kind of like, Rappa's name is Rappa. They're like, no, don't interrupt me. I'm the Lance, and then just like, Lance and shield, two shields. It's like, don't butt in them because I want to win alone. That sounds unhonorable. If you're gonna fight them, with Lance and shield, they don't have a shield. No, let's not do that. Let's just fight. Like, no, go away. So I mean, I think they had a lot more chemistry there. A lot more interesting. That gave way better battle. But let's just start. That's what I mentioned before I go in here. Talking about the actual battle. Did have some more stuff happening in chapter 141, right? So we can see that this guy in the walls, he's after Razorhead. And the Razorhead was like, I knew he was after me because I ruined it for him before. I ruined it for him before. And it's like, so why didn't you avoid? I just, it's kind of like, I have to hate Razorhead for that thing. It's kind of like, oh, I predicted your move. Bam. It's kind of like, if you predicted the move, wouldn't you do something to kind of counter that? Would you sit there and be like, I knew you were going to do that, so that you punch me in the face? Like, no. It's kind of like you play Street Fighter over there, or, game, like a fighting game in each example, and you say, okay, I predict you're going to jump towards me, so I do my anti-air attack, and I do my Dragon Punch, I do my Shuriken at you, or whatever character you're playing, but you do like an anti-air attack because you expect an air attack to come. And if you play something like Ed, because I made Street Fighter, so he's a charge ability. You have to like prepare it and then you drag them down. And that is actually way better anti-air than most of the character, but you have to really prepare it. So it's a proactive system for me to do that, right? So I can predict correctly you're gonna jump. I can punish you much more severely than the other characters. So it's kind of like us sitting there playing Ed and be like, I knew you were gonna jump towards me because you jumped towards the row. So I did it. So I did this thing instead in straightforward. It's like, but if I knew you were gonna jump, wouldn't you just grab them in the air then? Right? It makes no sense to say that. So but it's kind of like it's right in one way, right? It's like, no, I predicted you can do it. Doesn't mean you can avoid it because I know. So it's a little like nitpicking, but I think it's almost kind of funny when someone says that. I think in any kind of media, because it's quite common thing to hear like Hollywood movies as well. It's like, I knew you were gonna do that. I knew you were gonna betray me. It's like, if you knew that, why didn't you do something proactively before that, right? So you just got betrayed, and like that is weird. I actually personally had somewhat of a betrayal yesterday, actually, in one of my jobs, and he wanted to kind of like get some, money, get the money down. And I was like, no, but you write this contract with me, and here in the fine print it said this thing, so you actually owe me this money if it happens. And he's like, no, I don't. Like, it says here, by this law and this law, this happens now, so you actually owe me more money now. So I was like, oh, sorry, you should have, because I kind of expected him to betray me in a sense, right? And I was like, well, you should have read the fine print, because if you betray me, this happens. So, not talking too much here in this video, but it's kind of funny, obviously, to see read a manga, because I read probably 100 times the manga chapter, and I see that someone's like, haha, I knew you were gonna do this to me. I was like, why did you get hit by it then, Anyway, that means at least that's gonna be the coming battle, probably after this battle, right? Maybe next combat. Well, that's gonna be a battle, I think. I'm sure. It's like Eraserhead versus guy in the wall, right? that has been empowered by Eri, right? That's gonna be next. Maybe next combat left to Fight Gum and Kirishima or later, but probably next battle. I think it's pretty clear. We also had this point I think interesting, talking about like the head, the Yakuza, you know, the old Yakuza guy is in a coma, I believe, something in Liz is, you know, bedridden. And we had this scene with him, right, kind of in a younger shape. He's still almost old, but like, I guess, somewhat younger. And they're like, no, blah, 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 names and so on. So I guess they're kind of following probably him and not his like crazy son, something to be with angry. They're talking a lot about the overhaul, right? And he ordered this and so on. Otherwise he will get killed. And I'm wondering, this might be something happening later on. I'm wondering if he can detonate his people that touch. Like, he can de-assemble them, right? And you know, you like, you know, right? And, or, you know, that thing. And it feels like they almost seems to be so scared of him that I'm wondering if he had touched them earlier and he can be like, and then they will die, right? After, even if he can't even see them and so on. I wonder that is how it is. That is power being ridiculously strong though. He has a really strong power anyway. He touches you and you explode pretty much because he can dismember your cells or atoms, I suppose. Probably more how it works. Maybe it's your DNA. I don't know really, but yeah, something like that, right? And if you can do that by like afterwards, that he touched you and then he can kill you 3 hours later, that sounds really insane. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying that might be happening. So I hinted to that. So I wonder. Anyway, those kind of the, you know, build up, right? And then of course we see the actual fight. It's a great fight I think so far. So what happens of course is that Fight Gum jumps ahead to protect the Razorhead from the wall guy, right? He shoots out that. And I loved it too how Kirsty's like, I was also here, so I says like, well, I didn't see you. Yeah, you're fat, kinda covered me, so no one saw him. He was like, yep, you're really fat, Fight Gum. And then of course the fight is Rappa and Tenga, right? And I liked, as I mentioned earlier, they have way better chemistry in the order villains, interesting interlooping powers there. And they do this whole thing, but yeah, you're a double, you know, protective, you're like double shield. We have shield and lance, so we're gonna win this because we also have, you know, like offensive abilities, you only have defensive abilities. Which is kind of true, we never see Fight Gum, but yeah. But in general, it's kind of true because Kirishima is very defensive, so him in the tournament, it's very, like, I can take a lot of beating. And Fight Gum, like, I can absorb a lot of half my fat, so they don't feel very offensive, that's for sure. And one thing though, which I didn't like the chapter, I have to say, or the chapter but generally, that is what is Rappa's quirk. I don't like that, and that's the feel that because my hero is usually very similar to One Piece, right? And I feel that if Oda done this, potentially, it depends. Like Oda, sometimes he sits on the people's powers for like years. But that's more like if he's playing like the Flamingo and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna, introduce this guy here. He's gonna be the bad guy in like 5 years, so I'm gonna show up. That makes sense. But when Oda does this kind of shorter, combat guys, and you kind of appear and fight them, he usually just said the Oda box, right? The classic Oda box, when the text is like this power. And my hero, I feel, usually kind of does it as well. They have kind of like quirk books instead sometimes. Like Bubble Girl. Bubbles. Or something. That power seems so bad. But yeah, they have that kind of something. And I don't get that with Rappa. So maybe he has more powers. That could be it. I don't say. I'm just saying that. But I was reading it, I didn't think about it, so it wasn't that bad. I was saying, oh my god, it's so bad. I'm just saying now afterwards, I'm reviewing it, thinking like, and I reread it, it's like, but actually, what is this punching guy's quirk? He can punch a lot? Like, yeah, so that to me is a little annoying. It's like a nitpicking, but it's a little weird to me that we don't know at all what his quirk is. He basically just can punch a lot, right? And very, very hard, like bullets or something. And if you know his personality very well, it fits his quirk, I suppose. But in one way, he can just be a very muscular guy that punch fast. Probably not, but like, you see what I mean? So that feels a little weird that we don't get any indication of his quirk at all. I mean, also we get your indication how it kind of works, but not like what it's called or kind of what it does. And that to me probably means he has some kind of secret with it. Like he can do something else as it fast can do. So he probably can maybe convert it. But also in that one way, it was surprised me because obviously the end they was so near Fight Gum was kind of the reverse of his powers. And if it's like Fight Gum is gonna win now in next chapter, probably quite quick because Kirishima is actually, out of commission, right? So it's kind of like we have time to see, Fight Gum do this like, my power can do this. the other guy's like, I'm actually not a muscular quirk guy, I'm actually this quirk, and like, I don't know. So that is a little weird. And I mean, the other guy, Tenga, he obviously could have like, he has the barrier quirk, something that could have been like Bartholomew. That could have been like just his thing. He probably doesn't do anything else than the barriers, right? So little weird in that sense, but I guess he has some kind of, because I mean, obviously I can do a lot of like educated guesses here. Instead, I guess he has some kind of like strengthening quirk. We have people earlier, they can expand their muscles, so on, right? So he probably has some kind of like, yeah, he can, I don't know, he hits 5 times as hard as a human. So his muscles are this much bigger, and he can rig his health faster because of this. He's a kind of classic superpower durability kind of guy, right? I don't know, something like that, but it's a little unclear. So that thing is my biggest concern with this battle. Actually, looking back to it, that didn't get power at all. Like, yeah, he's just punch guy. Yeah, like he gives punch hard. Yeah, it's a little weird, but I still like his character. He's saying that thing. But the battle though, yeah, definitely great. He also has issues with his teammate. It's like, oh, don't butt in, man. And I love that part then when Fight Gum is like, yeah, I get you, man. I've been down in the Brawl fighting, and he does the kind of like this down to downtown fighting, down on the the docks of, yeah, like he does the kind of thing when he goes into that kind of like street alley battle guy. He gets that body personality wise, and Fight Gum is kind of the street hero, right? So that makes sense, but also because it's like, yeah, you wanna go down in a brawl, and it's like, yeah, you get me, fatty, let's do it. I like that because it was like, that's a great plan because you can see that. Come on, Rappa. Don't you want to go down, Rappa Kun? It's like, yeah, you get me, bro. It's like, don't butt in, shield guy. So that's a great plan to get him away from his partner. It's like, no, don't. He's like, yeah, whatever, I don't care anymore. Yeah, and he's like, yeah, I'm too tired. So I tried to talk to you out of this. You're obviously an idiot. You can do whatever you want. I don't care. And he looks at like Tershi was like, that kid is out, man. He has no spirit. He's out. And he just keeps observing Kyushi. And it's like, I don't care. I'm idiots. Just let them fight. So that was great. There's a nice setup there, yeah. And of course, Fight Gum does a lot of good speeches. Like first he's like, no, don't you believe your senpai? You have to believe in someone. I believe. It's like, that was too easy. The next is like, don't get breaking down, boy. It's not about how hard your skin is. It's about how hard your will is, right? It's like, yeah, it's not about how good your power is. It's about how much you can harden, right? It's about how hard your willpower is. Yeah, come on. So that was great. He converted it into the kind of classic, like, you have to believe and fight. Yeah, and of course later he does. And he jumps in there because it's started kind of bloody too. So I like that in my hero. But he got his bloody root. It started with that Kirishima must get like he's bleeding, his bones are like breaking, right? His hardening didn't really, help him that much against the muscle punch guy. Right? And I would like some quirks, but yeah. So get into that, and then of course later, and then Fat can go into this like, yeah, I can absorb damage. I'm thinking of Pokemon, it's like, yeah, it's my Pokemon, so yeah, absorb damage, classic, and then return it, with the same force, right? So his fast sword is like, yeah, no, I can turn into this lance instead. That's a great re-comment to. It's like, yeah, we have 2 shields and they have 1 lance. I can become a lance, so we have 1 shield and 1 lance. So that was great. But also the last chapter, the last page, Fight Gum is not fat anymore. I love that part. So last page, he looks like muscular, right? If it's his hair, because normally his hair is kind of like kind of short, right? Kind of like maybe, I don't know, this length maybe or so, yeah, it looks like that. But now when he's less, he's muscular pretty much, right? His hair looks a lot longer, like his hair like popped out of his fat or something. So I guess it's supposed to be like there's a little weird, but I suppose that his fat would be like so fat, yeah, so it's like covering his face, right? So when the fat shrinks on his face, his hair will like pop out something. Yeah, right? But suddenly he looks like also similar to Kirishima here. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna punch you to death now in 1 punch. So that's great, but it feels like he's probably gonna do it too. It feels like he probably will punch it down in 1 pace, because we see Kirishima, he's completely bloody. He's getting beaten twice by that punch guy, right? Second time he's like completely just covered in blood. He's like, okay, I'm out of here. You finished them, bro. And yeah, so I'm guessing he has to really, deliver on that punch there. likely break the shield. That's why I kind of wish to have some kind of quirk explanation for him as well, somewhat. Because it's kind of like, if you have a shield quirk, what's it actually incorporate? I mean, obviously it's gonna be like, oh, I punch with like 10 times the punch because I absorb so much punches, so your shield can't absorb it because it's like freaking 1 million attack power and you have like 10,000 shield today. Likely, right? That's how it's gonna be. I mean, I guess that's already predictable, and that's how it's gonna, very certain that. But the thing is that because we don't actually know how this quirk actually works, neither of them, it's a little weird. I mean, not that weird. I mean, this probably would happen, but it's kind of like, what if you had a quirk that can be like, I can create a barrier, and that can absorb any amount of damage, regardless of how strong you are. Like, this is my quirk. My quirk is create barriers, and it can be like Bartolomeo and the One Piece is example here. Like, she can only be as much area, right? So it can only be like this big, and if I do it like this, but then it's taller, or something like that. So I mean, basically, Bartolomeo is like, you can make a shield like this, right? This big, or like this, right? He has to, you can only move those that kind of area surface, right? So if this power is something like that, would it be able to just absorb Fat Gum's non-fat attack, right? And be like, yeah, whatever, I can absorb any amount of damage as long as it comes from this angle, right? Or something. That is absolutely like not gonna happen. I'm just saying that because there is no quirk explanation or like some text about his quirk, we actually know what his quirk can do. So his quirk is just to present it like, oh, it's a barrier, and you can like barrier it up. But yeah, I'm just saying, it's kind of like, yeah, that's weird. But anyway, I think it was a great chapter. I found it a really good chapter actually. Can get back into a manga again. Yeah, we did a little slow down. Second chapter was really, really good. First was a little worse than the two, but yeah, second was really, really good. And the first was, the problem with the first one, I'm not proud of it, the first problem was that, I don't know, like, it was a little weird, the hinting to this, like, overhaul thing. I wish they kind of went in a little more. It just feels kind of like distrayed, like, or what you call it, like, it's just too open to interpret what they actually mean with that. So I'm a little like, And also, I don't really get how they say Razorhead by jumping into that thing where he went or something. It's a little unclear actually what happened to Razorhead and pushed him away, kind of, because he saw him getting pushed out of the hole, right? And then the hole for him, or that's a little unclear. So we need to see it after the battle. But anyway, see you next week and have a great day.